It's daybreak on Arise News. Time for the press preview. A first look at what's on the front pages as they arrive. This day first, Buhari military not doing enough to end security despite logistics provided. A fierce situation may linger except citizens offer information. And there's more. APC women leader says that 100 million naira for the presidential form is meant to shut out unserious aspirants. The governor of the central bank, Emefiele, is defending Nigeria's exchange rate policy. He says the country is facing peculiar challenges. That report is on page 10. And the electoral body INEC is proposing 1 million staff deployments for the 2023 elections.
All right, the Nation newspapers. Buhari orders rescue of hostages with kidnappers, with 2 riders, NSA, while we are not deploying technology. And then Obasanjo okays state police, dismisses community policing. Then at the mast, right before the mast, just below the Nation logo, PDP APC presidential aspirants to breakfast with the First Lady. And then at the top mast, PDP APC clash over 100 million naira nomination fee. That's on page 5. Form not for jokers. Boko Haram kills 12 resi school buildings. That's it for the Nation.
Let's take a look at the Guardian newspaper. A similar leading story here says insecurity. Obasanjo others insist on state police as Buhari tasks service chiefs. Some riders to that story. Buhari meets service chiefs, orders them to rescue all captives across the country. NSA says El-Rufai's comments compromising security as Nigeria deploys 173 troops in Guinea-Bissau. More headlines here. A leading photo in front of the Guardian newspaper is the rice pyramids that was assembled in January. Says rice pyramids and Nigeria's production puzzle. Read the big story on pages 4 and 5. Terrorists kill ex-cop, 20 others abduct pastor in Yobe and Plateau. Top here says Nigeria won't float the naira. That's the CBN governor Emefiele telling the IMF and the World Bank.
The Punch newspaper is leading with INEC to spend 239 billion naira on poll materials and presidential runoff. High food prices will continue in Nigeria till 2023. That's according to the IMF. And President Buhari has ordered a rescue of abducted train passengers. That's according to the National Security Advisor. And cooking gas price jumps by 83% in 1 year. That's according to the Statistics Office. And finally, 2023, the wife of the president, Aisha Buhari, is inviting all presidential aspirants from political parties to dinner.
To break their fast. All right, let's look at some international papers. The Guardian, MPs back lies inquiry on day of humiliation. That's according to the Guardian for the PM. And then just by the side there, Mariupol, civilians thrown in mass graves.
And the Times newspaper says revitalized Russia can still win war. And that's according to Western intelligence. A leading photo on the Times showing President Macron of France sparred with an amateur boxer on the outskirts of Paris as polls put him in the lead for Sunday's election. That's on page 34. PM bows to new party's inquiry after Tory revolt. Ministers on brink of quitting before Johnson U-turn.
The Financial Times says number 10 threatens to shred Brexit trade deal with the new Northern Ireland bill.
All right, do we go on to Emmanuel? All right, if Emmanuel is ready, otherwise we'll take more papers. All right, for the press preview, let's bring in Emmanuel Bello. Emmanuel, glad to have you join us this morning on Daybreak. Well, all the papers seem to have the same thing. Our correspondent Adeswa yesterday was saying that the president was really piqued, and says military not doing enough to end security despite logistics provided. A fierce situation may linger except citizens offer information. Others release of kidnapped train passengers, not just the kidnapped train passengers, but all those who have been kidnapped. What's your sense of the president's body language and this order to the security agencies?
Well, I think what we're seeing is a president that is in, it's also, feeling the heat from every quarter. Nobody has seemed to have had a nice word for him, whether from his exalted colleagues, former presidents, or even from those that are in his base, and he's actually faced with a transition, hoping to move this country back to the APC, and he's not had a good word at all about security. This week has been particularly really hard on him. Father Kuka coming out through the Easter messages were not were also so the president, of course, feeling those heat where gather his security chief once again, and this is not the first time he's gathering there for this kind of meetings. And remember, these are the service chief that the president changed when he changed the structure one time, and a lot of back then, if you remember,
they are not doing the right thing, and so this president got this set of people, and some people believe that they were going to be do the magic, but from all indication, the president is giving them a report card and is telling them that you've not done very well. So these are preliminary reports cards, so to speak, to is scoring them, and what he's telling them is that they've not done well at all and that they failed. Of course, they have no way of retorting because he defended himself. He said, look, I've given you people everything that I'm supposed to give you, but you're not doing the job. And he's giving them new marching orders as the commander-in-chief. These are the same kind of orders he's giving them in the past. So we see it's almost like a vicious cycle, almost deja vu. We see a repetition of this. There's crisis, he calls the security chiefs, he tells them the same thing, almost like sounding like a broken record. And then we don't say anything. So what's going on? He said, look, I've given you all the logistics, and despite it, the needle has not moved. I'm still getting knocks left and right over issues of security. What's going on? And you see the NSA also in this story, they did this story, strongly defending himself that, look, what can we do? The president can only do what he should do administratively. We are not the ones in the field. The boots on the grounds are there. So if you look at it, the NSA was practically absolving himself while also looking at what they can do further to actually save the situation. It's almost pathetic in the way it's presented. And even when he was asked directly, okay, why not just use technology? Because everybody has said use technology, use better information gathering, use better espionage. What's going on? And then he said, look, technologies are not as easy as Nigerians think. They're expensive, and he dropped all those excuses. So this is serious, and it's crunch time. The president promised that he was going to end all this in 11 months. He's not getting the kind of results he should get. He's getting knocks everywhere, and so he's done this meeting. The IG2 talking about deployment of police and talking about the crisis. The NSA, in that this story was asked pointedly, does he think there's collusion? And he said he agreed. He said yes, you cannot rule out the possibility of bad acts. And for so many Nigerians, that is the kernel of the problem. That's the heart of the problem. The fact that those we're paying, those who are giving the mandates to protect us, are now colluding with the bad guys. That is endemic. That is cancerous. That's a serious problem.
Emmanuel Bello, there's the saying, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Like you just said, this just seems like a pathetic, vicious cycle where the president has these meetings with the security chiefs always last 4 hours, and they always emphasize on the length of those meetings as if that would bring about new results. And it just seems like there's a lot of blame game going on. The president says the situation might linger if the citizens offer new information. The NSA saying Governor El Rufai was talking too much and has now compromised security when he said they know where this terrorists or bandits are, and they can definitely preempt those attacks. Now, the NSA giving all these excuses about technology being expensive is even now promising us, the NSA says, will protect electoral body and Nigerians during voting. A lot of Nigerians are going to be out on the streets in 2023 voting with 1 million staff deployed. How do they plan on protecting Nigerian citizens?
Well, you're right, and in case you're talking about those blame games, it's sad that again, once again, it's pushed to Nigerians. You know, the NSA saying that look, Nigerians we have to, but you know, he has some support in that when even President Buhari is now saying that look, state police. President Obasanjo is saying that state police is the way to go. And yes, of course, citizen buy-in is very important. But of course, these are the same citizens that are harassed day and night. But again, that's what we hear from these quarters. That look, they need more information. They need more cooperation from the locals, from the individuals, and they'll be needing that also during the elections because it's going to be about people. We're already seeing examples of attack on INEC staff. And INEC staff was shot the other day in Imo State, gruesomely, for trying to escape with or try to register people coming for their collecting their PVC. Just yesterday I saw a video again of unknown gunmen saying, look, we're not going to allow for any elections, especially in the southeast, and that if anyone comes out for... So those are the sort of challenges that INEC is faced with. But it's not just INEC, it's NSA trying to restore some hope and faith. There are people in the past who have said that, look, there won't be elections. The country is not even safe enough for those elections, let alone think about a transition. And they were even, Afe Babalola, for instance, will say, give these things another 6 months so that we can get everything right. But INEC now, in some of the reports that we have today, saying that, look, we're ready to commit 1 million people on the field, and we have the budgets that we need, the monies that we need, and this is the amount it's going to go. Though a lot of people also have issues with those kind of money. Imagine the kind of billions it takes to do these transitions. And then the INEC are saying that, look, they are ready for these elections and that they will have them all the same, even when these security concerns are mounting. So for the first time in a very long while, we're going to have elections in this almost war-like atmosphere. And all that INEC and maybe the security agencies can do is actually restore faith and try to restore some kind of hope and reassure Nigerians that they are safe while they go out to cast their vote. But when you look at the underlying story, even in this same report, you see stories again, even yesterday, of attacks of all kinds, postage taking, people being attacked in pubs and where they're having fun and all that. So those stories are building up alongside the reassurances that the security and also the electoral bodies are trying to give Nigerians. It's almost like a dissonance, almost like a certain level of exchange that does not seem to make sense. It doesn't align with the reality on ground.
Still talking elections, Emmanuel. INEC says it's going to spend 239 billion naira on poll materials and the presidential runoff. And it's got an audacious projection, 100 million voters expected in 2023. That would be good to see. Meanwhile, in this day, the APC women leader says the cost of their form for the presidential ticket is meant to shut out unserious aspirants. Well, some blocks are still criticizing that. But the vice president's team is saying that they will crowdfund this sum, 100 million. A welcome development to test his popularity, isn't it?
Yeah, and yes, and Kenneth, not just he, but a whole lot of other politicians have turned this even to some form of campaign strategies. Yesterday, monitoring what was going on, you see many politicians talking about the fact that people, friends and associates, are actually raising these monies for them. Some of it is propaganda, it's pure nonsense. Nobody is giving anybody any monies to just go buy forms of 100,000, 100 million, 50 million. But again, Buhari tested the waters along this side in 2015 when he was selling empty recharge cards, and kids were, he was very popular back then, and people were giving him those kind of monies that he needs. It was actually also used as a campaign tool that, oh, look, I'm very popular. Even kids are willing to drop 1 naira, 2 naira, as little as they can to fund my purchase of phone. And because I'm also poor and I can't afford. It's always nice for politicians to present themselves as people that that can't afford these monies, and that to test their popularity, someone else is doing it. But alongside that, you see a lot of also propaganda and lies around those issues. In most cases, they actually end up coming up with the money themselves. But yes, this, like Kenneth, as you noted, Osibanjo will be using this to because someone has done the arithmetic and the maths that if you calculate Osibanjo's money from the day he's gone into power to today, there's no way he could have come up with 100 million based on his salary alone to buy that form. So now he's saying that, well, associate friends will do that for me. He already got a campaign manager in Senator Gaya yesterday, and now it's to see how the friends and associates will come together. And fundraising is always part of these campaigns. The more money people raise for you, the chances that you can project yourself as a popular candidate because of all those fundraisings.
Said it there, Emmanuel Bello, even though we're leaving it there. Senator Gaya, of course, of the TPP says people will raise funds. It's not going to be by the president or vice president himself. Friends will come in, just like you said. Thank you so much for your contribution.